Yeah.
Well, again, I picked it because it had two of the things I like, which was Ry Cooder and Mr. Stanton. So anyway, Paris, Texas is a 1984 neo-Western drama road film directed by Wim Wenders and co-written by Sam Shepard and L.M. Kit Carson, whose son with Karen Black uh, plays Hunter. Um, the the film is a production of West Germany, France, and the United Kingdom, oddly enough. Um, at the 84 Cannes Film Festival, it won the Gold Palme or Palme d'Or, as well as the um, FIPRESCI Prize and the prize of the Ecumenical Jury. I looked those up, but I've slept since then. So those are all highly cherished things.
I just finished it about 15 minutes ago. Did it win any Oscars or Golden Globes or anything?
It won.
Or at least get nominated for cinematography?
Should have been.
It won Best Direction for BAFTA. Nominated for screenplay, nominated for score by them, but no academies. Nominated for Best Foreign Film by the Golden Globes and a lot of other National Board of Review top 10 films, London Film Critics Circle Best Film, stuff like that, but no, not any Academy Awards. It has a really mild box office, only 3 million, 2.5 here and 500 overseas. And this German director, Wim Wenders, is just eaten up with the American West, and he's done a series of films, series of road films, and a series of other films honoring the American West. It's just something he's fallen into. You've seen it, so you know that it is maybe a little overly long. It doesn't have any real action scenes, and I guess the question I'll come to you with was anybody bothered by the really lack of discussion of his 4 missing years in between? That I don't know if that would have been a whole nother movie. They certainly didn't do much to talk about it other than he was drinking. He left his wife and kid. The wife finally decided she couldn't afford it, gave the kid to his brother and his wife. And then the story is all about reestablishing a relationship with him once he comes in from the cold or the hot in this case, in Terlingua, where he starts stuffing ice in his face.
I just took the call girl confession as he went on a 4-year bender. I mean, I didn't think much past that.
There was some conversation that he went to Mexico, and I guess I assumed the same thing. He stayed drunk for 4 years in Mexico and then started walking across Texas in a suit and a tie.
Yeah.
And a baseball hat.
And a
red
baseball.
hat.
Baseball cap. Yeah. Yeah.
But
she's not a
think-
call girl. That's a peep show. That's what that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And somewhere they mentioned that his father was from Mexico. Did they not, Metzen?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, they brought it up. Whether or not he was Mexican or was in Mexico, I was never sure about.
Yeah. But he spoke Spanish. So, of course, that's part. But
I want to hear
Never-
Karen's take on this because there was a lot of psychological stuff going on.
Well, I'm not a fan. I enjoyed the old stuff, the phone booths, getting the operator on the phone, smoking on airplanes, smoking in restaurants.
Right.
You know, the cell phone or whatever you want to call it, that brick with the antenna on top. Loved that. Paper
Walkie-talkie.
maps, getting the map out and laying it out on the car. The tube TVs, you know, that sort of stuff. But this movie, it's a 2.5-hour movie that could have been made in an hour and a half, and even in an hour and a half, I don't know that I would have liked it because there was so much emptiness. Why was he mute for all, you know, for so long? What happened in those 4 years? Why did the mother, you know, what was her name? Jane, you know,
Jane.
what actually happened to her? Why is she in a peep show, and how does she have the money to, you know, it's just so many things that, you know, sort of go unexplained. And in 2.5 hours, you would think they could explain that. But yeah, you know, there was some interesting symbolism, to come back to Jeff's, you know, the man on the bridge that's ranting, "I'm not crazy, and the end is near," kind of a guy. So it's, you know, that sort of, to me, was the juxtaposition between, you know, Travis and that, you know, that kind of crazy. The billboard, when they're up on the billboard and, you know, the two brothers are talking, and, you know, it's, oh, yeah, you can see, you know, it looks so different from up here. And then, you know, the one-way mirror where she couldn't see him, he could only see her. You know, it's like, okay. And then the way they kind of get around that with, you know, she turns off the light and then he can see her, or she can see him and he can't see her anymore. But like Jane's confession towards the end, it was too long. It just wasn't compelling. I don't know. I struggled. I did watch the whole 2.5 hours, but I did find my mind wandering at times. Like, okay, yeah. So, but
Okay.
that's that.
But
was
other than that, Karen, you loved it.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm going to recommend it to absolutely no one. Right. Like, although I did look a couple things up because Bob was also a huge fan of Ry Cooder. And he has done a lot of soundtracks. So in addition to this one, he did mostly movies from the 70s and early 80s, but the movie The Long Rider, he did that soundtrack. Southern Comfort, anybody remember that movie? That was a cool movie. He did that. And then Crossroads, you know, the movie about Robert Johnson, the blues player. Yeah. So
He interestingly said that the sound of the wind in Texas desert was in E flat. So the entire soundtrack was in E flat.
Oh,
Yeah, that was amazing.
Wow.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, so did Sam Shepard, the Sam Shepard, write this?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not another Sam Shepard.
No,
it's-
Oh, it's the
it's-
same.
it's
Yeah,
Sam.
he's mostly a playwright. He didn't do a lot of screenplays, but he wrote a lot of plays, and he was an actor.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you look
yeah,
up his
he's wonderful.
Wikipedia, he did everything.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a Renaissance man,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, he was. He
Yeah.
died.
Oh,
in
he is.
2017.
He's still alive.
John,
No,
he
he
had
died in
left the film
2017.
prior
No,
to
he-
its ending.
no, he
It was
died.
shot in chronological
2017.
order in 30 days.
Wow.
And he was moving on to another project, and he dictated Travis's soliloquy to a typist who typed it up, and that was the final,
See,
nearly the final scene. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised, Mike, at least the British nominations for this. I'd never seen it before. I don't think I'd ever even heard of it. I had forgotten Ry Cooder did the music until you just said it a minute ago, and it was a pretty unusual soundtrack,
Mhm.
and it
Well, it's
probably
real Americana.
yeah, and probably very appropriate for that particular film. I don't remember which film it was I said about a while back. Maybe it was Gary's film about the two ladies in India, and said, you know, you needed to keep sharp objects away from me. But man, this was a downer until the very, very last, and showing the mother and son getting together. And I thought it was interesting that he was leaving. I mean, he was going to stay out of the picture. The thing, Karen, I wanted more, but I wouldn't have been willing to watch any more movie. Is the uncle and aunt who had him for 4 years.
Exactly.
And other than that one phone call, I mean, that was just
That was it.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And they
Well, the
put him through
scene where the
school
aunt
for
is in
4
his little
years.
bed and kind of curled up. That's
Yeah.
that was, I think that spoke to.
yeah.
That's
well,
why I picked the picture behind me with him making that phone call, because I thought that was just so, heartbreaking. I mean, that was
Yeah.
essentially his mother that he'd
Yeah.
Yeah.
grown up with, and he was just saying goodbye on the phone, essentially.
Yeah.
Is,
You
she
know,
was heartbroken.
when I had never, like you, John, I had never seen this movie before. I think I had heard about it, but I had never seen it. And the first thing, like everyone noticed, is that it was so, the pauses through everything. It was just so long. But then I realized that my attention span, and I think a lot of people's attention span, has gotten a lot shorter. And I noticed this with all the films that I've seen that are in the 70s, 80s, not all, but a lot of films that are more artsy. I notice that I'm more anxious when it doesn't speed up or it doesn't get a little faster. And I really had to kind of take a deep breath and relax with this and like kind of put myself in the director's idea of why did he want us? I mean, this was incredibly slow, and why did he want it to be like that? So when I looked at the topography, the cinematography, I thought was beautiful. I mean, I lived in Arizona, and there is a beauty in Arizona that is, or in the desert, that is all its own. I loved the way they used the color red from his hat when he's walking through the desert. And as it seemed to me that as he got more open and ready to expose himself, red came into the picture more and more and more. So I really like, at least I picked up on that. The red started coming in the more he opened up. You're right. And by the end of it, I mean, I really wanted to know what happened to the not foster parents, but the two, the brother
Brother and sister-in-law.
I just felt what that's I was like, why this, the child was 4 when he went to them and 8 when he meets his father again. So he had 4 years with his real parents, 4 years with his um uncle and aunt, and then then he meets his father again. So yeah, I have the same thing. It's like, come on, after 4 years, you'd think that I wanted to know more. I just wanted to know more. I love the scene in I thought the two of them kind of bearing their souls in that, with that glass in between them, and he turning his self away because he couldn't really face her to talk about what had happened to him. I thought was really good. But again, it was a long, long movie. But I think the director wanted us to be uncomfortable with the silences and the length
There's so
and
much
all of that.
cutting off relationships and reconnecting relationships and starting over again.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the scenes where Hunter and Travis were reconnecting, and he was picking them
Yes.
up at school, and then even the road trip and the walkie-talkies was. I thought
And
great.
that child was so good. Was
Yeah,
it He's so good. He was just so natural, I thought. I
Karen
thought he was
Black's
really, really
son.
good actor.
Well, I think the point or the mission of the director was to convey isolationism. And I think he succeeded wildly. I saw the
Yes.
film when it came out in 1984, and I remember the Ry Cooder music. I thought was a perfect match for it. It's very spare music. And I just think there are some brilliant scenes in the movie. One, the home movie scene that if you go back and look at with the Ry Cooder music is a masterpiece in about 4 or 5 minutes. Just that miniature movie in the movie is chilling. The scene with the maid who tries to teach him how to pose like a father so your son might connect with you as not some stranger, and in the the effort she goes through to tell him how to walk, how to stand, how to dress. I thought that was a little piece of movie genius in the middle of that. The thing on the bridge, and that's why I asked you if there was a cinematography nomination, because the way if he was trying to convey isolationism, the way he shot it with these grand vistas and people small, whether it was on a street or in the out in the desert, I thought, and you can't do that in quick cuts. That takes, and that's how you convey isolationism, is you are out here on your own in a very small way. And the music did that, the cinematography did that, the pauses, the silence all did that. Now, if you don't want to watch a movie about being reminded that we're all out here alone, then I can understand why it didn't make $3 million. I mean, it didn't make more than $3 million.
That's
But
right.
I don't think he made it for us. I think he made it for him. And that's what artists do. They make it and hope you get something out of it. And I loved it when I saw it then, and I loved the fact that you picked it now, because it reminded me of how well that Ry Cooder guitar goes with this director's efforts. Um, there's a couple things in there. That long bridge walk, when you don't even hear who the guy is talking to, you get to him and then you realize he's still got another quarter mile to go before this bridge even ends, and this guy's out there
Yeah.
talking to but early, and I'm not remember, I don't know when he came back, or somebody somewhere said, well, I'm from a galaxy far, far away. And if you remember, when the mother ended up curled up on the bed of the kids' room, it was a Star Wars set of sheets. So there was some sort of connection going on there,
Oh,
which
yeah.
those are little touches that I think are interesting. But if in the end, either she was paid for it or she truly enjoyed listening to people, that's what she kept, I'm here. It's not a call girl thing. I'm just in a booth to, I could take off my sweater if you want, but if you just want to talk to me, that's what I do. I love to listen. And she was married to a guy who, for the first 30 minutes of the movie, never spoke. And you sort of see, well, I can see why that wasn't a good match. He had nothing to say and she had nothing to listen to until the very end, when they both managed to do that. And then in the cinematography, when they have that mirrored scene, there's one where their faces are meshed together.
Yeah.
And she is in the shadow
Yes.
of his profile. Yeah, I thought that was another piece of brilliant cinematography.
I agree.
It's not it's not a whole movie. It's a string of little vignettes that are slow and time consuming, but strung together. I really enjoyed it as much this time as I did the first time. So
Mike, what did it cost to make?
I couldn't find it. I could
Yeah.
not
they did it in
find that
30 days.
anywhere.
It couldn't have taken much.
Yeah. Well, they didn't spend any money on costumes and not very much money on pages of text or dialogue.
Vehicles.
Yeah, or vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Has
get
the-
the same one.
Has the little boy, has he done any acting? I mean, has he done anything since this? I mean, he'd be 50 years old now.
I
Yeah.
didn't look up his IMDb, but
Yeah.
again, as I said, it's this co-screenwriter, Kit Carson, and Karen Black's son, and I think this was his first movie.
Yeah. Well, I thought
I thought he
somebody
knocked
said
it. I
he
thought
was.
he knocked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was amazing.
Being
I
thought
bet he
make
didn't,
it
because
more movies.
on Amazon Prime they have that X-ray thing, and it'll show all the cast, and it'll usually shows what they look like currently. And for him, it was just, it was just like a blank
Hmm.
you know, no picture at all. So
I want to toss the ball back into Karen's court. The one thing that felt untrue or dishonest to me was the idea that an 8-year-old having being parented and mothered by his, I guess, aunt would suddenly just walk across the room and embrace somebody who had to have virtually been a stranger. All he knew of her was some things his dad had told him in some home movies, and to put that just seemed false to me, that an 8-year-old kid would just suddenly become enamored with his mother who'd abandoned him 4 years earlier. That seemed a little false.
I don't know the depth of that when they did meet up, but it was such a quest driving to that bank on the right day, and then him hanging out on the stoop at the bank waiting for the certain person to come through.
Yeah, he was leaning in, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gary. And I could see that he would be, as an 8-year-old, finally getting to, reunited with a mother that when you're 4, you're able to kind of hang on to those memories. So he wasn't like he was 2 when she left. So he probably
Right.
had some memories. But I agree, the sort of him just jumping up and wrapping his arms and legs around her, and it was a little much.
I would think that would
Didn't
take
ring
a
true to me
couple.
either.
I would
Yeah.
think that would take a couple hours or even a couple
Yeah,
days.
especially an 8-year-old boy.
Right,
If he
right.
was a 4-year-old boy, like, yeah, that kind of cuddliness kind of goes with the developmental level, but not at 8.
How
So,
much do you suppose H.J. Heinz paid to get that Heinz ketchup bottle on top
Yeah.
of the television in that scene?
Were they doing it back then? Were they doing the product placement? I know
Yeah.
since then, yeah, but
It was quite prominent in those scenes. He's listed as an American actor, screenwriter, producer, and director, and he was nominated for a Young Artist Award for his performance in Paris, Texas.
And this is Hunter Carson.
Hunter Carson.
it sounds like he went behind the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's Karen Black's son.
right.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I read about, so I'm not going to take credit for it, but was that they compared the movie, and I can see the ending, but I don't see a lot of the rest, to the movie The Searchers.
Yeah, I read that too. And
John Wayne does walk away at the end of The Searchers when he reunites the family, and so does, obviously Travis walks away after he's but beyond that, the temperament completely different. The John Wayne character and the Nick Travis character, just I didn't see a parallel there, but maybe somebody else did.
Well, Karen, if you didn't like this movie, you should watch it on chemo. I mean, that's really
No, we don't wish that.
no.
Yeah,
is that a new streaming service?
Yeah.
That's what I wondered.
It's not free either.
There's some sort of streaming.
I don't know what I've done to displease you so much, Gary.
No. I didn't mean that. I meant, you have to, this was not the movie that I would have chosen on my
Right. Yeah.
but I got, I got through it.
You
Yeah.
did. Yeah, you did.
What kind of films do you want to see on chemo?
Well, I ask around about some compelling ongoing TV series, because I'm going to be doing this and something I can do while I'm there. And several people had recommended The Wire, and then this last weekend I was listening to a podcast of a bunch of New York Times critics, and somebody had written in and said, it was a lady who said, I busted my ankle in a women's rugby league, and all the critics recommended The Wire. So I've downloaded The Wire. I don't know if anybody's seen that
Yeah,
series.
I haven't seen it, but I've got a lot of recommendations for it.
I've seen it.
I thought too, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I hadn't seen
But
this
it's dark.
recently.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm not looking for Marx Brothers or anything.
Right.
So,
No, it's really good. Walter Goggins. That's like first thing I ever saw Walter Goggins in.
okay.
They do say that things that involve levity are good for you. when you're
Well,
going
yeah.
through that kind of
Wasn't
thing.
that a anatomy of a illness? Wasn't that the book? Anatomy of an illness, that the guy that, oh, what was
What?
his name? Oh, it was a book that was out like in the 70s, that he went to the hospital and he got all comedies and just continually laughed and watched comedies through the whole thing, and supposedly it cured it. So, and he did get the Marx Brothers, and he did do Abbott and Costello and the Marx Brothers and all that stuff. And yeah, so.
Well, I'm reading Ron Chernow's Mark Twain biography, so I got plenty of laughs.
Oh.
Mhm.
I'll shut up for a while.
Jeff, any other comments?
Which Jeff?
You, Jeff?
I kind of liked the spare, drawn out, wildernessy kind of nature of this, and I didn't find it that hard to watch. I was trying to play guitar with Ry Cooder, though that was a little depressing.
Because the music was depressing, or you're not that good?
I'm not that good. I mean, he's an amazing slide player. Oh my gosh.
Have you ever seen him in concert?
No.
We got to see him a couple years ago in Phoenix, or whatever the little town is next to Phoenix that also has an airport. And it was a nice sized auditorium, and the band around him was amazing. And it was a mystical, spiritual experience. It was
Mesa?
Yes, Mesa. Yeah.
I've got several albums of his, and he is masterful and very sort of encyclopedic about music. He's collaborated with so many people.
The dirty rumor is that he wrote Honky Tonk Women and the Stones stole it.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard that.
Yeah, look it up.
I've heard that one.
What did you think, Chris?
Not a fan. I watched it to the very end because I had to see what happened after all of this dragging out of the story. Thought this has to come together somewhere. I was shocked that he left his son with Jane, and off he drove in his Ford, whatever it was.
Ranchero, wasn't it?
Yes. All I could think was El Camino. Wrong company.
Just the Ford version of that.
Yes, exactly. But I was sad that he took off and left them. But I guess he knew that he would not be able to be a father and a husband. And so he had to leave, but at least his son was with his real mother, which is where he wanted to be.
Don't you think he felt he couldn't be a husband more than being a father?
Probably. And he had this drinking problem, which came up, and remember the kid says to him in the bar, "Ooh, you stink," or something like that.
At the bar, yeah.
Yes, but that's probably the case more so, Mike, than anything, because he tried to be a good father, did a pretty good job. He got Hunter to open up to him, even though he embarrassed the daylights out of him at school. You're showing to pick him up. Oh, no, you don't do that. No.
Yeah, that first time when they asked that other kid if he could ride with him. This isn't going to go well.
Yeah.
That was cold.
So, yeah, it was just okay to me, Mike.
That's fine.
There was
We all
another.
have our big years.
I never
Can't pick a winner every time.
I never heard a more succinct
That's right.
version of the Big Bang Theory from that kid. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was brilliant.
Yeah.
On a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting scene. He's sitting in the back of the truck. His dad's in the front of the truck, and they're talking by walkie-talkie about the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
So what did anybody think about the whole vacant lot? Because they never go to it. They don't really, it isn't like, oh my gosh, now he's a millionaire because somebody built something on his lot and he owns it,
Mhm.
that
See,
kind of
I
thing.
have the feeling, Karen, that as he was driving off after he saw his wife and her son get together, in my mind, he was going to Paris.
Okay.
I mean, there's no evidence of that.
Right.
That's just how
Yeah.
I
We all
read
expect
something that
what
said
happens
that-
after the credits roll. We do that. Yeah.
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 Paris, Texas is not in the desert. I read that. It's off in the northeast part of Texas in the piney woods.
Mm-hmm.
So that was not really a lot in the desert where he was conceived, supposedly.
I wonder why he would buy a lot. I mean, the lot that looked like that picture. I mean, that was pretty terrible real estate. And then the guy, his brother, why would you buy a house that's right above a freeway and an airport? It's
Location,
like,
location.
Well, Jeff,
I got a good deal on it, you know?
I got a bridge in the desert. The conversation was that he believed that's where he was conceived.
Right.
That his father
Right.
Right.
had told
well,
him
in
about
Paris, not on that lot, I imagine.
Yeah. But I get where that part of it fit in, but I keep looking at it as, as possibly, symbolic and, of like a fresh start or, or just sort of the emptiness, hopelessness, helpless, hopeless, hapless kind of
Or
personality that Travis had. Yeah.
another reason for your wife to leave you. If you think this is paradise, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for watching it.
Well, I think one of the, what John just did is fantasized about what happened at the end. That's one of the advantages of a movie with a lot of spaces. You can make up your own, fill in the gap to the blanks, and have fun with it if you want. And there are plenty of blank spaces to do that in this one.
I was surprised by the ending that he took off like that. But at the same time, sometimes I like endings like that where everything is not buttoned up at the
Yeah,
end.
it's not Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And, things don't work out all the time. And
Right.
You knew there wasn't going to be a sequel.
yeah,
Right.
Oh, God forbid.
Oh no, I just read earlier today that they're making Paris, Texas 2.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually Paris, Texas 1 again, but it's the director's cut, so it's longer.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, Harry Dean
Or
Stanton
maybe
actually
the director had a moment of clarity and it's shorter.
This is all the levity I need, just seeing you guys every Monday.
In the director's cut, Harry Dean Stanton actually has a full hour of not saying anything in front of the movie.
I know, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to be unkind, Mike, but it was like I would watch the movie for a while, and I'd get where I can see how far along we are. Like, oh, we're only But I was like at 30 minutes, and I'm like, he hasn't said a fucking word.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching it. I actually was texting Chris, and I'm like, I'm at 1 hour. And I watch for another 20 minutes and I check and I'm like, it's an hour, it's 1:06. I'm like, what? The clock is going backwards.
I described it to my wife as it's like watching a train wreck. You couldn't put it down, but you knew it was bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A train wreck in slow motion.
Yeah.
Very much so.
But
Well,
Bill, you haven't
thanks,
said
Mike.
much. Is Bill
Yeah.
with us?
Yeah. I was just looking at some of these other movies that what's his name? Wenders done. I didn't recognize any other movie, but I was looking at his last one in 2023. It's got a all Japanese cast, cost 25 million to make, or it had 25 million box office.
Oh.
Looks kind of interesting, but
I thought that was interesting about this one, that 2.5 million was derived on 30 screens. So just not a wide release. I mean, nobody
No,
acted.
That was, I'm sure at the time it was just considered a foreign film, you know?
or
Yeah.
an artsy film.
Just
yeah.
an art
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
Like,
John and I were members of a movie club in Atlanta when this came out, and it was shown at a arts cinema where they would show. Man, we saw bigger box office things. I remember seeing Out of Africa, and but this was a niche movie then. Probably only showed at one screen in Atlanta, and then there would be it wasn't it'd be 100 people there, but some guy would kind of lead the discussion and make different points about it. It was pretty interesting. Not as much fun as this, but I didn't see it at a big screen in a mall. I saw it in an art theater.
it wasn't released in Europe until, was it 84? No, in Germany until 1985, because of the politics between the US and Germany. They're like, no, we're not going to do this. So anybody
Because
that
of
wanted to go
Reagan.
see it had to get on a bus or a train or whatever and go over to Switzerland.
They rented buses to take
Yeah.
them over there.
Really?
People over there, yes.
Why do you suppose this had an R rating?
Oh, I didn't know it did.
Yeah.
Really.
Maybe the Peep
I
Show?
don't know.
I don't know.
Just the fact of a peep show.
Yeah.
No, I
Can't
think it had
believe
more to
that.
do with the material that was being discussed. Not that it was risque or anything, but it was a drifter and a broken home and all that.
But R?
Movies like that are done that don't have R ratings, but I just think this was pretty bleak
Well,
movie.
it's more of
Maybe-
an adult, it's more of adult adult things that's all about. I
Themes.
suppose that's why they would put an R as opposed to someone 13 seeing the movie or 12 seeing the movie, I guess.
Maybe it was the violence inflicted on the viewers.
Yeah, that could be.
The link.
When did they come out with PG-13? Maybe this was before that.
No, I don't think so. I think that was in the 70s.
I don't know.
Well, I could be
No,
wrong.
either.
That is
Oh.
curious.
Midnight
Yeah.
Cowboy had an X rating, and that was
Yeah, that's right.
71 or
Yeah.
69 for Midnight Cowboy,
69.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And
I
that
can
wasn't
see
that
why they-
like that was pretty close to the beginning of it all. All the
Yeah. I think you're
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Bill. I'm walking here.
I can see why they
Can
not
hear.
recommend it for teens, but I don't know why they would prohibit it from a teen seeing it. But
Hmm.
I don't think they would have changed their box office numbers that much.
No.
Not a
No.
date movie.
well, it started out. I mean, it felt pretty dark. I mean, maybe the critics watched the first of it and thought. I mean, that's what I was sitting there going. I think this is like a David Lynch movie or something. Like I just kept waiting for it to get darker and darker, and when it turned out the way it did, it was like, oh my gosh, that's almost a relief.
Mhm.
Hmm.
It seemed dark in the beginning, and it seemed that way for a long time. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, it, in its own way, had a happy ending, but
Yeah, in its
not
own
for
way.
everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, who's got next?
Twitty.
Oh, you went out of
I
turn.
think,
I've
yeah.
lost my way.
Okay, before I tell you, I've got two choices for you. Honky Tonk Women, at least according to Wiki, Gary, is a Jagger Richards song. And it was the last cut that Brian Jones ever made with the Stones before he drowned.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Okay, well, I didn't know there was anything on Wikipedia that wasn't perfectly accurate.
Is it your
I've got-
turn, John?
Yeah, well, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got two for your consideration. One of them is Good Night and Good Luck, that was made not too awfully long ago. And the reason I was thinking about that one was because George Clooney just did the stage
Right.
of that. I thought it was I thought it was a really good movie, and I also thought, given the state of political conversation today, it might be refreshing to hear Edward R. Murrow do what he did in that time. And the other one is High Noon, which is a great Gary Cooper film written during the blacklisting, which well, I guess that's kind of about the same timing of both of those.
We had High Noon.
Had you had High Noon? Okay.
A few years
okay.
ago. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So let's do Good Night and Good Luck.
Oh, good. That's a good one.
All
Yeah.
right.
Perfect.
Is it a Marx Brothers comedy?
Gary, you must remember the picture that was on the wall when we had lunch the other day of Harpo, Groucho, and Zeppo.
Right.
You seem to have the Marx
See?
Brothers on your brain.
Yeah.
So that'll be November 3rd, correct?
Yeah, sounds right.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Unless there's a holiday.
Well, okay, so I'm going to be in Atlanta that night. So somebody else take it away.
They have
Whoever-
internet there.
Yeah, but I'm going to go see Paul McCartney, and so
Oh.
whoever's next after me ought to take. Now maybe that throws everybody into a tizzy because they thought I was going to pick.
I think I'm after you.
You're not getting your tickets from a minister down in Springfield, are
Yeah. Mahoney, you weren't supposed to say anything about Philip and my making that deal today.
you?
I mean,
My bad.
I'm good with just discussing it without John being there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I think we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right.
We'll discuss it in your honor.
Yeah.
You
thank
can
very
watch
much.
you can watch the movie later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
The
just hoping.
YouTube movie.
I'm just
Talk
hoping.
amongst
That
yourselves.
I'm just hoping that Paul McCartney sings a lot of Wings songs that night.
You know, he's going to be in Tulsa next week. I don't know why you have to go to Atlanta.
We
I'm-
could
my
make that one work.
Tickets were for Tulsa.
Ah.
That's where I was supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
John loves Wings as much as Karen loves Billy Joel.
Karen, I don't know if you don't like Billy Joel, but I'm assuming from that comment you do not. In fact,
I do not.
I
I'm
think,
not a
Wicker,
fan.
You told me that, and
Yeah.
I am not. a
Neither
Wings
do
fan.
I.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, I know which documentary I'm going to recommend for my next pick.
Oh my God. There's some
I'm
new
already
movie
feeling a little
coming
like
out.
I might get a cold.
Yeah, I feel a cold coming
Cold
on.
coming
in 4
on.
weeks.
No, it's not till December.
Wow, there's only 4 people on this Zoom. Are we meeting every 2 weeks or just the first and third?
First and third.
Okay, because I have chemo every other Monday, but so I was thinking, well, this would be something to look forward to, but slightly off. But the next one works. Yeah,
Are you on the same Mondays?
yeah, every other Monday for the next 16.
Oh.
Mondays, I got to do 8 sessions over the next 16 weeks.
So sometimes it'll hit our night and sometimes it won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah,
one will.
I'll be on the 17th. And then so Gary, you would be on December 1st. Because you come after me.
Okay,
Mhm.
that'll work.
Then it
Billy
starts over again.
Billy Joel, December.
Well, I don't mind switching with John. And John, if you want to be able to introduce your own movie, I could switch with you, or else we'll just talk about it with you not
Billy
there.
Joel
Okay with
documentary.
me.
Yeah. No, go
We
ahead.
won't do it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll watch it, and if I've got anything particularly profound, I'll just say it the next time I'm on.
Okay.
Okay.
You can just forward Wikipedia to us.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. But take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
So I have a recommendation. I don't know if it's ever come up before because this movie was made in 2018, but it's on Netflix. It's called On the Basis of Sex.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
about
Yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I just happened to run into it on Netflix. It's so good.
Very good.
It's
Felicity
a great film.
Jones,
Yeah.
Armie Hammer.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
good.
I was very, very impressed. So
Good actor, horrible human being.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen, I think it's called Hello, Eleanor, or The Fantastic Eleanor?
No,
No.
I haven't seen it. I've heard about it.
Okay. I haven't either. I'm just curious if anybody did. And it's not about Eleanor Roosevelt, by the way.
No, no.
Hey, Gary, you'll be happy to know that my list now is down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
List
That'll get,
of.
get you through a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John's a forward thinker.
I guess.
What are you talking about, John?
I had a long list of films, Bill, whenever I was invited to join this august group, and it had like 12 movies on it, and now I've picked one, and we can't do High Noon, and I'm not going to be here for the other one, so I'm down to 7. So
I reminded John he was still on probation and not to get carried away.
yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to recommend a 4-hour Civil War movie, and Gary thought that was a stupid idea. So.
Oh, God. Thank you, Gary. If you do that, then I'm recommending.
What was that going to be? Gods
I'm
in
gonna
General?
pick
Is that it?
Gone with the Wind.
No, Gettysburg.
No, no,
Gettysburg,
not that one
yeah.
either.
Okay.
What'd you say, Chris?
Said if John picks a 4-hour movie, then when it comes my pick, I'm picking Gone with the Wind.
I love Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Quite the place, quite the movie.
So I got a recommendation that I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch it or not, but become
That's a
pretty
ringing
interesting.
endorsement.
And I was listening to the local critics do their review of movies here on Channel 4. I don't know if anybody else in town listens to them, but they have a couple pretty good movie critics. And they went through all the movies and they said, yeah, no, they're pretty good. It's okay. And then they said, but everybody will be staying home this weekend to watch Monster on Netflix. It's the Ed Gein story. He's like the original serial killer, or but anyway, it turns out that
It's not dark.
it turns out he's like the killer that like was the basis for Psycho and other movies that have been made. But it's pretty good. It stars the guy that plays him is the guy from Sons of Anarchy, Charlie Hunnam, I think is his name. But it kind of goes back and forth from being there and then being there, his character, and then all of a sudden they'll be on the set of Psycho and they'll be making Psycho, and they'll be talking about how what's his name, Anthony Perkins, he's like he's like sitting there going, Alfred Hitchcock tells him he picked him for a reason. And I guess Anthony Perkins had some real problems psychologically after being picked for that. But anyway, they kind of get into all these different movies that this serial killer is based on. And it's pretty frightening. The whole thing is pretty frightening, but I guess it's very popular right now. So I've been enjoying it. I mean, I won't watch it at night. I have to watch it during the day. It's too much for me. But anyway, it's pretty good.
Bill, I have to tell you, undergrad psych students are obsessed with serial killers. Every semester, I'll like, okay, what about this, about psychology made you make this serial killers? I want to know about serial killers. Like,
Oh my God.
we're not going to talk about fucking serial
Wow.
killers. Yeah, no.
Well, one of the things
Wow.
that they're doing, it's like in the 50s or something, that this guy, it's after World War II, he's obsessed with all the murdering of the Jews in Germany and things like that. But he's like flipping through these detective magazines and things like that, where they're like solving crimes, and it made me think, like, I would go to my grandparents' house And my grandma would have a stack of those kind of detective magazines in the back
Yeah.
room, you know. And
Gruesome
I'm
art.
back there going like, I mean, I'm like 8 years old and I'm flipping through it, and you know, some guy got shot in the head, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, what is going on? What are adults reading? This guy is kind of like that. I mean, he's like, well, he's got a lot of strange problems, but it's interesting. So that would be pretty good. And after watching Psycho again to see what Hitchcock had up his sleeve. I mean, Psycho changed everything for Hitchcock too. I think after Psycho came out, it was a very popular movie, but I don't think Hitchcock was very popular after that.
Did Birds come after that?
I don't think so.
You do or you don't?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I often am.
I smell dinner, so I'm gonna bail.
All right.
Okay.
Kansas City party people, stay on, please.
Great
Okay.
to see you all.
All
Okay.
right.
Mike, are you gonna watch a little baseball tonight?
All
Yes,
the
I
best
am.
to you.
Yeah, me too.
Good one tonight.
Yeah,
Bye,
I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah, it's just fun to watch.
All right.
All right, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
John.
Good night.
Fun this weekend.
Oh, thanks. We will. So I went to the barbecue place today, Off the Hook is what it's called. And
Cindy.